comment, like,
and subscribe,
or else.
And then as soon as you know something, they're like, not good enough. Prove to me you know more than that.
So for you guys, how do you feel like most of your learning was done outside the classroom?
Way most of it. Yeah.
How does that work for you?
So for me, that's better because I have a short attention span. So like when I was the best thing that could have, so I went to school when COVID happened. So school got closed, in-person school got closed, and we all went online. The best thing, and I swear that was God. To this day, I think God made COVID so I could finish grad school. I swear, like all the people that died, I'm sorry, it was for me. So grad school was a blessing for me, or COVID was a blessing for me as much as it was a curse for everybody else, because it gave me an opportunity to learn at my own pace, which is a little bit faster than what they were teaching at. When I was sitting in lectures, I swear I would try to take notes to save my. I would try to take notes every single class period. By the time I looked up from my note taking, they were 3 slides ahead. Mm-hmm. I was like, ain't no way, bro, because I'll be looking down, taking notes. I would get bored, start daydreaming, look around, look at what other people was doing, talk to them, dude beside me, make a joke. He wouldn't laugh because he couldn't speak English that well, and then but the class would be over, and I'm like, I swear I was taking notes.
So do you feel like you had to do a lot of like searching online for information or like papers, or did you just learn from like the slideshows and things they have for you guys?
I learned from the book. If there was a good book, that's all I really needed to read. And then I watched a lecture for like supplemental learning and then pretty much every class was like that. Like if it was a good book, I would read the book. If I really didn't know, I would ask a classmate. And most of the time somebody would, either everybody didn't know and I was fine with it because I'm like, well, clearly don't nobody know what's going on, so you don't have to know. Because even the dude who's getting a good grade don't know what's going on, clearly it's something that I can just ignore. Mm-hmm. Or I would just listen to the lecture and it would get clear. So I mean it was like that for me in undergrad too. Like most of the learning I did in undergrad was I'm just gonna read the book from cover to cover, and then hopefully y'all figure
which
it
is
out.
Amazing, by the way. A lot of us can't do that, so that's definitely a blessing.
I always thought that's what you're supposed to do. Like that's what teachers always say.
So that's what everybody, like that's like I've heard that, and I feel like that's everybody's thought process of studying. But I know it's definitely different in dental school. Like you really don't use the textbooks very often, at least not at the beginning. You're getting so much material so fast. You better follow the slides.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool that you're able to do that. I was gonna ask, how do they test your knowledge? Were you guys being like given tests often, or is it kind of like law school where you're not being pimped, but they're asking you questions, like calling you out in class, expecting you to be able to answer things? Like, what does it kind of look like? I guess just kind of showcasing your knowledge as you're going through.
Yeah. So, grad school, or at least for me, it's definitely not like law school. Like it was because we learned a lot of theory. It was mostly theory. Like most of the stuff you learn in computer science grad school is not applicable to anything you'll really do in real life, unless you want to create new algorithms or you want to create like new path learning algorithms, or unless you want to create new algorithms, like or do research, you ain't really gonna use any of that stuff in like your modern day work, day-to-day work. So we were mostly just tested on things and giving projects to show if we understood like the algorithms that we were doing.
Okay.
Tests and projects. It was like 3 big tests, 3 big projects. It's pretty much what every class was. Or you had like, if the class was mostly was too theoretical, you'd have like a research paper.
Okay. Thanks. So you had a mix, really?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I definitely we didn't have like a final research project or anything. We didn't have like a master's thesis that we had to write or anything like that. But I had a couple research papers. I had a couple super big tests. I had a couple super big projects.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That's a cool experience. So when did it really set in, like, I guess the difficulty or the stress of grad school? How long
The
did it
first
take
time I
that first year?
okay, so there's a class called algorithms, and the first time I took a test in that class, I got one question right out of 20,
Mm,
and I didn't even get the whole question right. I got one question, partial credit question right out of
holy
20
shit!
different
And
questions.
you was like, I made a mistake.
Yes. What did I do?
Damn.
I could have not been. I didn't even really want to come here.
Yeah.
And so like it was, and that was the worst I've ever done on a test in my life, because I've never been like a bad test taker or anything.
How'd you navigate that? What'd you do to bounce back or kind of deal with that? Because that's rough. But I've heard similar things. A lot of people say that first test hit them no matter which school you at, it hits them hard.
How did I bounce back from that? I failed that class, so I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the answer. Like, I didn't bounce back. I failed. I took that class 3 times.
Okay.
I took the class 4 times.
Get out of here.
Every semester, but I dropped it twice. I took it over the summer. I took it the first semester. I took it the second semester.
You was persistent.
Oh, I took it 3 times. I took it 3 times. It was once over the summer and then once. No, 2, because I had 2 summers, so I took it 4 times. I dropped it twice and I failed it once.
Bro, they was whooping your ass.
Whooping.
So, what did you have to do to finally get over that hump? Because once again, regardless what happened, they expect you to
pass. You know, I figured out a system for myself. So one thing that I knew, something told me I need to start getting note cards, and just like having a note card, because remember I said that it's very theory based, and so I remembered from geometry back in the day. I was like, well, in geometry, we always had these note cards, and we would just write the theory on it, and then on the front is the theory, on the back is the description of the theory. And if you understood the theory, you could just apply it, and then you didn't really have to study true geometry. You could just keep saying, okay, I'll just list every theory I know and see if one of them fits here.
That sounds like Oakham. That's
what
the
is
secret.
Oakham?
That's the
organic chemistry. Okay, I got you. Okay, so
that's the secret of Oakham.
Similar thing to I was gonna say organic to algorithms. The class I kept that was just whooping my ass, and also AI, artificial intelligence, is a very similar thing as well. Where I just sat there and I was like, because the theories don't even have names in algorithms or in AI. It's just like theory 1.2. And so you got to come up with your own mnemonic. You got to come up with your own name or something.
Nah, that's crazy.
And so I would be like, all right, well, let me just create. I had 100 note cards, and I would take them before the test, and I would just, what is this theory? Do I memorize it? Do I have enough? And if I could list at least 80% of it, I would just move on, because I'm like, I can't remember the whole thing, and the last 20% I could probably just figure out if I know 80. So I'll just memorize 80% and move on. And then I remember I took the final test, and I was in a cabin. I don't remember what state I was in, but I was in a cabin, and I was waiting to find out whether I passed. I thought I failed. I swore I failed. I was in the bathroom in the cabin, just finished taking a shower. I pulled up my phone. I saw the email about my grades. I was like, whew. I opened the email with my grades in it. A, B, B, C. The C was what I needed to get me 1 point above the passing. Bro, I threw my phone across the, when you, kids don't even remember the shmoney dance. You just throw the hat in the air and just, I did that right there and then in the buck ass naked, just right there in the
Hey, that's awesome.
Ran out that bathroom with clothes on, because there were other people in the cabin. Went and took an edible and just vibed.
You earned it though. At that point, dude, you earned it.
And I took way more than I should. I think I had to take like 25 mil. I was in there seeing God. I was like, listen, you did it, my boy, because that was not me. I should have failed, bro.
You did it. And man, so do you feel like you gained what you were looking for in the experience, or were you just focused on, hey, I just need to get this kind of checked off, and then my life can keep going?
Once I left high school, I was like, I'm just gonna rewrite myself, because in high school I was only being abeku because that's what I thought everybody else wanted me to do. So once I got to college, and you can attest to this, but you didn't see it in my freshman year. You saw the more refined version of it once I was in my sophomore year. It's a raw asshole. Like the worst. I used to say the worst things to people. I used to treat my girlfriend like trash. Like, bro, like I was gonna cheat on her when I was in school. I just didn't get the chance.
Hey, shout out to growth. Shout out
to growth, bro. I'm telling you, I was not a good person. Like,
that's what college is for. You got to find yourself.
And so I tried that because I was like, I remember I went to college. I was like, I'm not going to get no friends. I'm just about to do my homework and then go back to my room, get these hoes, go see my girlfriend after getting these hoes, like everything. Didn't do none of that because I grew. But I remember saying that through college. And I remember thinking my goal in college is to leave college and go to work. Possibly not even go to work, possibly like leave college early because I made something. Because I never wanted a degree. I was like, this is a waste of. The moment I got to college, I was like, this is a waste of time. Everybody, I don't know how nobody else can see this is a waste of time, but this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
And so when I went to work at Lilly, my job was to waste time, to take a second to just not have to learn anything and kind of make a little bit of money and get away from my parents and kind of just explore life, like travel across the country a little bit, have fun because I have my own bread to spend, like just kind of like take a deep breath. When I went to grad school, that's when I started my YouTube channel.
Shout out brucerants.
Shout out brucerants. You already know.
Go ahead and plug it real quick. brucerants with a Z.
Platforms. BRUCERANTS on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. BRUCERANTZ on Twitch.
Yes, sir.
And brucerantsmerch.com for merchandise. Get your Bruce Rants merch.
We call them the boo boppers.
Oh, we gonna call the boo boppers on you.
They gonna get boo bop for real.
They gonna get you boo bop for real.
My boy, I love that. I love it, man. I love all of it.
And so when I went to grad school, the moment I landed in LA, the moment I parked in LA because I didn't land, I didn't fly. I kept telling myself, this journey is preparing me for the next phase of my life. And I know it's going to be hard because the next phase of my life, if this isn't hard, once I get to the phase of where I'm really supposed to be, I'm going to quit. And so it was hard. I went through that was the worst my life has ever been, was in that moment in grad school. But I kept doing it because I was like, as much as I was flying everywhere, as much as I was having to figure out how to manage my time, figure out how to manage the fact that I did not have good executive function, figure out everything. I was like, I know this is here because if I can make it through this, then once the other part of my life comes, that is going to be where I become the real Bruce. It's not going to be that hard for me. Or if it is hard, it's not going to be as hard as it is for other people.
Well, it's kind of like you'll have the experience to know, like, this is what I have to do to get through it.
Exactly.
I think some things that if you never experienced some things, then you don't know how you're going to react. And most people, when they hit a point as hard as grad school, aren't going to react well, especially if you're used to everything coming to you.
Oh, yeah. No. And I was one of those people. I was used to everything. I just show up and everything works. Like grad school was the first time I showed up and things that just didn't work. And I was like, my YouTube just trash at first. Instagram trash at first. TikTok trash at first.
Yeah, you've been working on it for a while now.
For a while. Like really just thing by thing, try it. If it doesn't work, just try it again. Just try it again. Try it again.
And we don't really, sometimes people talk about determination, but a lot of people don't talk about the persistence and how much that affects success just as much as anything else. Like, you can be brilliant and all that, but a lot of times people make it off of sheer will. I don't want to quit. I want to see this thing through, even if it hurts, even if it's hard every day. I want to finally make it. And it's not always going to be easy. You're not always going to make big leaps, but if you are doing what you're supposed to do, I feel like eventually most people are going to get to where they're supposed to be going, but it's not easy.
And it's basic statistical analysis. You know what I mean? Like when you look at probability, if you have 1 out of 100 chance of not doing something, or if you have 1 out of 100 chance of doing something, then if you try it again, or no, okay, let me say it this way. Okay. If you have a 1 out of 100 chance of something happening, and in order for that thing to happen over and over again, it's 1 out of 100 times 1 out of 100 times 1 out of 100 times 1. So if you fail, and let's say you even had like a 90% chance of failing. Well, for you to fail twice in a row, it's 90 out of 100 times 9 out of 100. If you try 90 times, eventually you're going to succeed just because it's statistically improbable to fail that many times. So you just have to try more than you fail, and eventually you succeed. And for some people, they feel like they can't try 90 times, but I'm going to try 91. Like that's one thing that came to me.
That's a difference separator for a lot of people. That's part of why so many people don't go to grad school, because you have to be able to accept failure. There's still some people that go through and everything's easy for them. But for the majority of people, you're going to have something you struggle with in grad school because it's built to be that way. And it's going to make or break you. And even if you fail in grad school, like what you learn from the experience is going to help you. It's going to help you. It makes everything else seem easy. Look, I haven't even been to grad school yet, but I took a course that's supposed to simulate it. And we was in class 8 to 5 every day learning just straight science shit. And looking at that shit, I'm like, dude, I should have never bitched about undergrad ever. You know how much time we had? We was in the gym for like 3 hours at times, like
every day, twice a day sometimes.
And I used to say I didn't have enough time to study, bro. I was bitch made back then. And it's a learning curve. How would I know that if I never went through this, you know? So I think it's one of those things that you have to go through, and if your heart and mind is really set on reaching your goal and you're doing what you need to do to get there, you're gonna get there at some point. You're gonna have your break. But it's you just gotta understand it's not gonna be easy.
It's not. No, it's not. I mean, no good thing has ever. No thing that. Let me not say good thing. No thing that I have ever valued has ever come easy to me. It doesn't matter if it's women. It doesn't matter if it's friends. Let me not say that. I value friends. It doesn't matter if it's school, work, whatever it is. I have valued not one thing that has been given to me. Not one thing. I will either just give it away or waste it. And then, especially in this journey in my life I'm going on right now, brucerants on all platforms. I made rice the other day and I cheered. Yeah, because I was like, I worked for this rice. Like this was mine, and didn't nobody give it to me. Didn't nobody tell me it was handed to me. Can't nobody tell me it was handed to me. And that's how I feel about my grad degree too.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Do you feel like you got what you were expecting out of it? You know, with you it sounds more like you were expecting the experience and you finally got through it. Has it been helping you on your career journey now?
Yeah, grad school has. I mean, like, probably not in the way people think, but like grad school taught me a lot of discipline. Number one, grad school got me the job that I got.
That's awesome.
Yeah, before I quit my job and started doing content full time. If I didn't go to grad school, I wouldn't have that. And that job allowed me to really that job taught me that I hate corporate America truly. Like when I was at Lilly, I didn't like it because I was like, this is passive aggressive. But when you work in a manufacturing environment and you get to see what it's really like when people have a lot of money just thrown at them, that's when you really get disgusted. That's when you're really like, y'all not right.
Yeah.
Y'all not right at all. Y'all not right at all. And an endeavor where they're not helping people, because I feel like it's different. It's a little bit different when you're like a dentist or you're a doctor and you're rich, because every day you go to work and your goal is to make somebody's life better. When you work in manufacturing, your job is to make somebody's life worse so that you can get more money.
Yep. Cut as many quarters as you can while still making profits.
And make a profit and cut corners to make a profit. And so when I saw that, I was like, I'd rather do anything else.
It's awesome you can do that, though. You were able to walk away and live your dream. That's amazing.
Every day I look back and I'm like, did I make a mistake?
Hey, if you ain't saying that, you ain't taking proper risk in life, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Especially at this point, like you haven't hit 30 yet, right?
About to at the end of the year.
It's coming, but you haven't,
Yeah.
So it's like we're just reaching that era in our lives where now things are starting to be, you're possibly trying to find something long term, but you can still take risks at this age, So it's like, why not? You're not really tied down to anything, nothing crazy. So this is the time to experiment and see what can you really do, because you never know how things are going to work out.
Yeah, I agree. I've always told myself this is my last risk.
Okay.
Like I'm throwing the sink at this one. And if this one don't get to where I want it to get, or if I get tired of it, I'm okay. Like I did everything I wanted to. I will go back to work for Mensah. I'll happily. Mensah, come take me, because I'm done.
Hey, I think you're gonna make it, man. Just keep putting time into it. I love your social media stuff. I really do. And it just reminds me of being back in the dorms.
Yeah, I mean that's where I got a lot of them jokes from. Like even just the name Brucerants, Justin, our man's, is the one who told me to name myself that. Like in freshman year, I remember we were sitting in it was me, the squad. It was my girlfriend at the time. We were sitting I can't even remember what that place is called, but it was like, it's like a little diner place. And we were sitting at one of the booths, and there was this lady, she had blue hair. She was just sitting like across the way. And everybody was like, go roast that lady. Like, just go. Because that's what I would do back then. Like, I would just see people and I would just start dogging them from like toe to head, and then the head to toe back down again. And so my mans was like, I didn't do it because I was like, I'll leave him alone. And then my girlfriend was there. I was like, I don't do stuff like this in front of my girlfriend. She's going to get mad at me. But, my mans was like, I remember it. He was like, hey, yo, if you ever start a YouTube channel, you got to rant on it and call it brucerants. And I was like.
It stuck with you.
Yeah, it stuck with me. That was 2012, like the fall of 2012.
That's awesome.
And I never forgot it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Shout out brucerants.
Shout out brucerants. BRUCERNTS and a Z on Twitch.
You better plug it. So did you have I'm not gonna say favorite year. Did you have a year that stood out to you in grad school, or a time period that really stood out to you? What, for whatever reason, it could have been terrible, could have been great, could have been eye-opening. You know, was there anything that really popped out?
My first semester taught me that I'm not him like I thought I was. Like I thought I was gonna go